Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in to the first edition of the veloTALK series. My name is Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of the small organization Veloplaisir Europe. Veloplaisir Europe is basically just a group of friends who organize bike trips together and who like to exchange about it. And so with this little organization, we started organizing this event, veloTALK. The idea of this event, veloTALK, is really simple. We just basically try to bring people together who are interested in long bike journeys. I think we have all been at report nights like this before the pandemic in presential, and really like hearing about long bike journeys that people did. So we told ourselves we should do something like this online. So like I said, the idea is just to bring together people. At each veloTALK we have several speakers who are going to do little reports about their most exceptional bike trips that they have done. So tonight we have two speakers, or two groups of speakers, who are going to be presented in the next minutes. So for us, but also for you as the spectators, this I think is the chance to hear about long bike journeys, exceptional bike journeys, and also to get impressions and input for your next bike trip. Maybe you will have some ideas that come out of this conversation, this talk that we're having tonight, and you're going to get motivated to plan your next trip. And also another idea of this is to get to know people. So we are trying to create a little network of bike travelers who have the same ideas that we do. So let's hear all about it now. Let's start. I'm going to give the word to Helen and Lucas, who are leading you through the first part of the event.
Thanks, Michael. So, guys, my name is Helen. This is Lucas.
Hi, Lucas. Nice to meet you.
And we're also founders of the Veloplaisir Europe team, and we welcome you also to this very exciting moment of veloTALK. And I'm going to get right into it. We're going to have two exciting bike talks today. One of them is the German biker called Michael Merten. He's going to tell us about his trip on the Balcans later. And the second speakers are Frederic Goyhetche, and I'm saying sorry already because the name is very complicated. His wife is called Pantxika and Frederic. She might tell us later how to pronounce the name. And they go by the name Kalimucho World Trip, and they're gonna explain us what it means later on because it's a funny story behind it. And so we're gonna start with Michael Merten. And he lives in Trier. He's a journalist, and he bikes because he wants to fight for better bike infrastructure in his city and everywhere in the world, actually. But before I'm going to give the word to Michael, you can get involved as an audience too. You can write your questions, everything you wanted to know about bike traveling or bike packing on the right side in YouTube at the chat function. And because there's going to be a Q&A at the end of each talk. So we can get your questions and you will get the answer. So thank you very much. Looking forward to this talk of Michael now. I'm going to give you the words.
Enjoy it.
Good evening from Trier. Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm proud to be the opening speaker today, and I hope there's going to be a lot of veloTALKs in the coming years. I hope you see I prepared a little slideshow of pictures that I did on my 2 months Balkans and Danube tour. I think you should all see the screen now. This from the Danube to the Balkans, the little river. I think I'm going to start it right now. And I'm showing you some pictures and there are also some videos that I took on the way and tell you about it. This trip was done in 52 days in the spring and early summer of 2018, from May to July. And it was, for me, it was my second really long trip. I did two trips of 2 months. I think the couple that's going to talk later will probably smile when I say long trip, because they are on a kind of world trip. But I think for most people, it's 2 months. It's not so easy to have more time or to even get this time. But I think whenever you get the chance, do it. I think there probably going to be also some practical questions. We decided that I don't know, like the audience, who are you? Are you bike aficionados who did like lots of trips already, or maybe you're beginners, you want to get some inspiration? And I can't say like what is the audience. So I think we're just gonna have open question later. You can ask a lot of practical questions and whatever. Yeah, I did my tour as a round trip from Vienna to Vienna, going through 10 countries, which is Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Serbia, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Albania, Montenegro, Croatia, and Bosnia. And I started it, how to get to Vienna. I think one of the greatest ways is to grab a beer and decide to take the night jet from Österreichische Bundesbahn, ÖBB. It's from where I live, Koblenz, or like Koblenz is very close. There I got a perfect ticket in the sleeper, where you can put everything in, like you don't have that much space, but you have your beer and you are happy. And you get a nice breakfast in the morning. And I arrived in a rainy May morning in Vienna. And it was really, I think, the shittest day. It was raining a lot in Vienna. But at the end, I wouldn't have that much rain in the next 2 months. So there you already see, that's a picture from, I don't know, some 2 or 3 days later, where I already had great weather and a lot of sun. But still in Vienna, that was, not that great. But what was great in Vienna, you see that picture of bike lane and also beer. Okay, there's a lot of beer at the beginning. Probably, going through the Balcans, you will also have a lot of beer, but more about this later. I think, why did I decide to go to the Danube, or to start there? Because it's a really easy way of cycling. You saw that picture of a bike lane. It's flat, and it's nice for cyclists who don't like have that much experience. Also, it's great. And for me, I already had more experience, and I like going everywhere, like without any prepared bike lanes, just like to the explore the countryside. But I decided that I wanted to have this first weeks of easy going on, and just not being not making so much thoughts about where to go. And that was great. The Danube, when I crossed Austria and Hungary, and then I came to Serbia. And for me, I live in the area of Schengen, and I saw that for the first time, I saw that Schengen external border, which is highly secured, and I think there's probably already more security right now. And that's been a tour of, I didn't have that much experience with borders. When you cycle in Europe, it's very easy, but in these countries, there have been a lot of border checkpoints. But it's easy, at least for cyclists. You can just pass it. You don't have to wait. It started as a single tour. I didn't take any friends with me on this road, but I met lots of people. And on the border from Hungary to Serbia, I met these two people, Kai and George. It's father and son. I hope Kai is online now and listening. These two guys, I just met them somewhere on the road, and the father, he just got retired, and he told his wife, I'm gonna do a crazy adventure. I'm gonna cycle to Greece. And the mother said, oh my God, no, son, you cannot let your father do it. You have to join him. And the son, he was a student. He said, okay, let's do it together. It was a great adventure to meet them. And I also met two other German cyclists. One of them is Katharina. She was a student, or she is a student at that time. She was sometimes cheating and using this, like using truck to get on. But as you see here, most time she was struggling, because in Serbia it was already wide, much wider than at the Austrian-Hungarian Danube. We came to Belgrade all together, and took like first break of 3 days, I think, and just walk around in Belgrade, and finding out that it was fantastic city, but also, like you see there, it's a part of the Kosovo, part of the wars in times of Kosovo conflict, that are still, houses that are still destroyed. And also you see here a lot of poverty. When you leave Belgrade and the big like tourist spots, for example, here you see young children, the one with the blue dress. We met them just by accident. This young girl, she had been living in Germany for 2 years. She was also speaking kind of fluent German. And we met lots of families that have been living in Germany for some years, but due to restrictions, they had to leave again. And I thought, like, look at these children who had a school and friends and all that, the perspective in Germany, and who had to go back to Serbia and other countries. That was sad. But back to the road, this year, the Iron Gate, it's one of the most fascinating parts of Danube. It's from Belgrade to the border, Serbia, Bulgaria, really great. I can't say it in another way. Fantastic landscape. I also came to Niš, that in Serbia, that was the birth town of Emperor Constantine the Great. And that was when I had already left the Danube. At the Bulgarian border, I decided to go to direction Balcans and just do a trip like from here to there. And and it was also great, and there also very hilly. It began to become very hilly in Serbia. And also at the border, that was a picture shown, taken at the border from Serbia to Kosovo. I met some really interesting people, because this, what you see here, this house has been a shop only like 3-4 kilometers to the border. And this shop was very prosperous in the years before, like in Yugoslavian years. But when they closed the borders due to the war, this shop ended and the whole prosperity of this region ended. But the people are still very polite. I was cycling there in the evening, and I was searching for a place to sleep, and I thought, like, let's probably go to Kosovo. But then I saw these people celebrating, and they had loud music and were dancing, and I was like waving, saying hello. And then I said, oh, come on, my friend. And one was even shooting with a rifle into the air and said, yeah, come on, have a beer or have a drink. And that's like they invited me. It was so crazy. That was the grandmother of the house. It was her birthday. And the young people, they said, come, stay here and join us to the discotheque. And yeah, we had a really great evening with those people who didn't know me at all, but who just welcomed me. And that, I think that happened very often when you, especially when you cycle alone, and you just meet any people, and yeah, just think you would never meet these people in a hotel or yeah, wherever. Kosovo, that was collector of old stuff, old cars and old stuff. I spent some days in Pristina, which is also an interesting city. You see this statue of Bill Clinton, because the people in Kosovo are very proud of America because they helped them bombing Serbia. And yeah, they said thank you with the statue. It's a totally ugly statue of Bill Clinton. But yeah, at least it was thank you. You see Kosovo has a lot of building of houses, a lot of prosperity, and also a very young cathedral where you where you see Mother Teresa, who was born in somewhere, I think in I forgot, somewhere in the area. Yeah, I was going on and also saw lots of these yeah, these statues or monuments that remind on the war. I think this issue of war, UCK, like celebrating heroes and resistance people, this conflict is still very present, and you have like conflicts between the Serbians and the Croatians and the Kosovo people and all them. Yeah, it's very present. This is some picture of a nice hostel where I stayed with a great food, and also I showed this this monastery of Peć. I saw some monasteries in Kosovo that are really amazing. Why? Kosovo is a mainly Muslim dominated country, but it's also mainland of the Serbian history, and like the most important and really most impressive Serbian monasteries like this one, they are in Kosovo, and they are kind of lost for the Serbians, and the Serbians don't really appreciate them. It's really disaster. But what was nice, there you see these pictures, and it's going to be the first video also. Rugova Canyon. I tried to take some videos with my smartphone in my hand. I don't know if it's legal in these countries, at least nobody cared about it. But yeah, it was really an impressive scenery, and that was where I realized now I am in the canyons of the Balkan, and this is no longer my Danube tour. That's really into the Balkans, and it was a great landscape. And I can highly recommend going to countries like Serbia and Kosovo because they are, as I said in the title, they are beyond mass tourism. They are they have really great landscape and history and monuments, but you won't have hundreds or thousands of tourists, which is different already in Croatia. Yeah, I came to Albania, my next country, enjoying great breakfast and having a cow with me and no one else. Just like I put up my tent wherever I wanted. I was excited to be in Albania. It was the second time for me, and that was taken like some kilometers after the border. Albania also is a very mountainous city. You see these country. You see these streets. They are really good. They have a good infrastructure now, but also when you go more into the countryside, it's different. You have really bad streets, and sometimes, and you think like there's gonna like get problems with my tire, but I never had any flat tire thanks to my Schwalbe Marathon Plus. Yeah, this is a a lake in the middle of Albania. A ferry takes you to the south, close to the Mediterranean. And yeah, after some kilometers, I arrived in the second largest city of Albania, which is called Shkodër. And this Lake Shkodër is one of the biggest lakes in the whole area, just a few kilometers from the town. Yeah, I also spent some days in Albania before I went on to Montenegro. Yeah, I liked taking pictures of the sun going down. This is kind of the most magic moments for me when I'm on the street, and like sometimes I cycle 7, 8, or 10 hours a day. Then you see such a beautiful sunset. That's great. Montenegro, interesting country. Like in Kosovo, you pay with euro. They don't have a currency, but they have a lot of tourists. So from European countries, so easy to go there, easy to spend money. And for me, it was great. I was at the ocean, the Mediterranean. Great feeling to get there and to have a beer. Yeah, I think I had lots of beer, but also like the other cyclists, we all lose weight and kilos, although we have tasted every local pivo. And you have these characteristic rocks from the Balcans, and these beautiful little villages or half islands like Sveti Stefan, this one. I didn't go there. I just stopped at the beginning because this is all private area. You have to pay for everything, and it's only for rich tourists. And me as a cyclist with my unwashed dress, I didn't want to go inside there. But I enjoyed the cycling at the street on the ocean. It was a bit problematic because there was kind of very much traffic, especially in Croatia, but also nice to cycle there. Kotor, this is Kotor, a small city, kind of jewel city of Montenegro, where for the first time in my life, I thought like, this is gonna protect me against the cars, but yeah, I didn't take it with me. It was a bit too big, but I enjoyed staying there and in the morning having a coffee somewhere in town, and then having a little town walk around and getting up, like leaving town at 10 in the morning before the mass tourism starts. And yeah, I went to Croatia. It's my main destination. I spent most time in Croatia, I think. This is also interesting. I was just arriving at one, I thought it's kind of a campsite, but it was not, it was private. You saw some people who were watching football, Champions League. No, it was European champions. And they just invited me and said, yeah, this is private, but just come here and, as you see on the picture, take a sleep in our house and no problem. It was really, they were really welcoming the people. This is Dubrovnik, a city that probably some of you might know from the series, how is it called? Game of Thrones, with really Mediterranean, like it's really fascinating. But I didn't go there for long. I left early and met people like this guy from France who was cycling for years. And you see his beard is already much longer than mine. And yeah, you always meet like these fascinating people. And yeah, I like to be outside in the countryside, like there. I stopped in all these cities, but I tried to get there really early in the morning and get out after 2 hours before mass tourism arrived. Yeah, I was cycling in sandals also most of the time because it was really, really warm. Then I went to Split, also one of the historic Croatian towns. Like with my bike sandals, I just because I was cycling on the sea always, I just stopped there and got a little cold for my feet. Really, really nice. Split is also Roman city. They have a lot of tourists in normal times. That was before Corona. Yeah, I can highly recommend to go there. If you want to cycle there, you can also see these Roman spectacles. Croatia is nice, but it's also like Italy. It's not as much tourism as in Italy, but it's much more than in countries like Serbia or Kosovo, for example. But really nice. And you can also go with your bike to the beach because most of the beaches are stone beaches. Okay, you still, I think it's 5 more minutes. Is this okay? Because we said like half an hour. I was in Croatia. I discovered all the national parks. Like this one, it's a lake inside the national park, and you can. I didn't expect it, but you can dive there and swim there, which was really, really fascinating moment. Getting again on the streets, and I think most of you probably have heard of the national park in Plitvice, which is okay. First here, Café Bar Winnetou. For the Germans here, most of the movies in the 60s were made in Croatia, the Winnetou movies, which was kind of Western movies that were made because of money reasons. That were made in Yugoslavia. You had Yugoslavian people playing Indians, and you have this wonderful landscape here. Some of the oldest probably recognize that is the place where the village of Winnetou was standing in this 1962 movie Winnetou 1. And I like these movies in my childhood. They are kind of legendary in Germany. And I was really happy to discover these places. For example, that's a place where Winnetou died, not because of a mine. This sign later came here in the wars of this 1990s. A lot of areas there. You have to be careful where you go, and you can't leave the. They always have signs. The waterfalls. That's Plitvice. Fascinating. And that's the Silver Lake in Plitvice. Before I came Bosnia, that was wrong. I have a little problem with these signs. They come a bit too early. Yeah, once again, one of my last border stops. I went to Bosnia. Also there, a lot of signs like this: mine, dangerous, stay out. Bosnia is also a Muslim-dominated country. Also there, you see a lot of relics from the war. I didn't spend that much time in Bosnia. I went to Hungary because I didn't have that much time. Again, I wanted to go to back to Vienna. I think that is re-entering, Hungary, re-entering Schengen. My last days of my trip, and this time really, it was so sunny. I always had my sandals on, and it was really a nice spring. And I think that should be one of the last evenings in Sopron. I decided to, it was one Hungarian town. You see there, I always cook every evening, a little pasta, whatever. And also I decided to take little, breakfast, very basic, let's say. But then some days like there, I also decided to cycle a lot in the morning, then have a great breakfast somewhere and spend also a lot of money on it. That's what you can do when you cycle wildly. Yeah, that's before my arrival in Vienna, my last video. I enjoyed one of the last downhill drives. Then I arrived in Vienna, the end of my tour, where I met a friend that I knew from warm showers. You probably all know couch surfing. There's one platform called Warm Showers for cycling tourists. And I always stopped at my friend Martina Zalakova's WG. She died last year. That's why I said this video is in memory of Martina. She was really a great host, and also my friend Stefan. On our first tour to Vienna, we stopped there, and it's really great. I can recommend you use warm showers because they all invite you to stay, and yeah, it's great. I took the train. That's on the Mosel. My friend Angelo, he welcomed me home again. In Trier, where we have the statue of Karl Marx. He was born there, and also the Black Gate, the Roman Gate. That is the end of my impressions. And yeah, thank you very much. So, stop screen.
Michael, thank you so much for your presentation. That was really inspiring, really nice to see all that and nice to hear all that. One aspect that particularly catch my attention is that you shared a lot of impressions with local people, where you got engaged with local people. Do you think that solo traveling, and particularly solo traveling by bike, is an advantage to get to know people there?
Yes, I would say like it's an advantage to get to know people. Yeah, I don't say like do your trip alone. I think that's what everyone has to decide, because it's also great. I did also tours with friends, and it's great to say, okay, I go and get some food, and you stay here with the bike. I don't have to think like, where do I fix my bike, or will it be stolen, whatever. And also this mental support when you have a problem, it's raining the whole day and your chain breaks or whatever. I think that's really good to have someone giving you this support and mental support. But also when you are alone, you really get more into the local people. That's what I experienced. And they see you're alone. It's kind of an invitation to talk to people, and in so many countries also I was surprised how friendly they were. The less touristically, the more open to people they are. I think that's what also two others are gonna prove later. I think it's more intense probably in many ways.
Do you think they appreciate it more that you travel there or visit their countries by bike? Because usually people use the plane, they rent a car, and bike is very different from all that.
Yes, I would say that, especially when there are not so many cyclists. Like at the Danube, they are used to it. Hundreds of cyclists go there. But I went through areas where you had basically no cycling tourists. Albania also, you have some individuals. I was cycling in Palestine, and it was I was the only tourist all around. I met I met one Japanese tourist, okay, but like I was the only cyclist, and kind of half of the people on the street said, "Oh, hello, welcome, welcome," and it's amazing. Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah.
That sounds very
Must be a
interesting.
nice feeling.
Then we
Yes.
have some questions from the audience as well.
Yeah.
I think those questions are a little bit more practical. So
Yeah.
Andre Pfeiffer, for example, wants to know if you would recommend to do this kind of bike traveling, this kind of tour with a drop bar as well, or generally what kind of equipment, what kind of gear do you have?
Drop bar heißt?
Rennlenker.
Racing car, racing Lenker.
Okay. I have these GP. I have to check. Like I have a touring bike. It's a steel bike from VSF Fahrradmanufaktur. It was a T700 that I kind of individualized, and the bars. I had these kind of, I don't know how to say, GP4. I think that's the name of these bars. I'm gonna post it in a few minutes.
Nice. That's nice.
They are very ergonomic and not expensive. I can highly recommend them. Ergon, that's the name. Ergon GP. I see. Here are the comments. I'm gonna post it later. But I think you can also have this from racing bike. But I prefer these Ergon ones because you have a lot of varieties where you can grip, and I don't want to have this racing bike like getting down always. I want to also to see more of have a more upright position.
Yeah, that sounds legit. Then Peter Müller wants to know how many kilometers per day do you do on average?
Yeah, depending on. I think after the second week, I am totally into everything, and I would like at least 60, 70 kilometers, but also sometimes I think average would be around 90 to 100. Sometimes I do 150 and it's okay. But yeah, I think like 90 to 100 is average.
And you crossed a lot of European countries, right? And borders also. How did you experience the borders with the Schengen?
Yes. It was really kind of weird because I had already known borders from outside Europe, but not in this intense way, like with this Stacheldraht. I don't know how to, this hard fence and all that. That was kind of, yeah, and also this having so many borders in such a short time, and having these controls and all that. Lucky for me, the cyclists, they always say, here, come, you don't have to queue like the cars, which is nice, but still it's kind of weird feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, yeah, weird. Because I live in close to Luxembourg, and Schengen is a little village in Luxembourg where they made these contracts and where they said, let's open Europe. And yeah, you see also you see refugees in these countries and trying to get wherever. Yeah.
Did you on your own experience any kind of strange situation anymore, or was it for you as a with your passport, was it easy to just pass? Or
yeah, with my passport, I think you have a privilege with German passport. Probably you don't have that much. Like they don't say like, what is this guy? What does he want? I didn't have any problem. I can also, when we talk about problems, because Katharina, the student who was then 20, she also told me later that she didn't have any problems, and also she didn't have this problem that you probably think young girl traveling alone will maybe get a lot of comments or whatever. She had one situation where a guy kind of made this I don't know how to say, sexuelle Belästigung. How do we say?
Yes, she was like.
Yeah, it was one situation in 3 months. So for me, I would say I didn't have that many bad situations, and also the ones who I met and who I still have contact to.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, you would say it's pretty safe to travel by bike, put up a tent, and also women could do it alone?
Yes, I met a lot of women who were cycling alone. And for example, one Bärbel, she was already in her 60s, and she said, I've traveled in a lot of countries, also a lot of Arabian countries. And she had a lot of strategies also of direct confrontation of people. She said, for example, one guy, he came and he said, I want to fuck you. And she said, my brother wants to fuck your sister. That was her response. Or, I'm going to tell this to your mother, when it was a village, for example. And then those people, like, ooh, they don't expect it. Surprise. When you have a situation of, maybe dangerous situation, or surprise people. That's always good. And I mean, in general, but I think in countries like Mexico, I've never been there, but or South America, it's kind of dangerous. But the countries I went through, the Balkans, I couldn't say that there are a lot of problems of security. Like, I thought Kosovo is still kind of complicated, but the war is over, and it's a prosperous country. Yeah.
Okay. And one asked, did you plan your trip and did it as you planned, or did you have to make spontaneous changes while traveling to the Balkans?
Just smiling, beer makes you strong. Yes, good main, Martin. Yes, I planned, when I did my very first tour to Rome and Athens, I did a lot of planning. I had one, like, it was kind of caricature of a German. I had a file with 60 pages with a lot of prints and reservations and all that. But the older I get, the more I travel, the less I plan. I mean, you have to get to know, is this what you plan? Is this practically, like, can you do it? Is it realistic? And because most of us who work, you just have like 3-4 weeks or whatever. But the longer time I have, also the less I plan and just say, I wanted to go like round about this direction, but not in detail.
And I mean, someone wrote, just to make the last few questions, beer makes you stronger, does it? Is it, do you drink a lot of beer while cycling, or?
I think probably Kai, the son of the two who I met, he's probably smiling now, because his father, like, we also met another guy in his late 50s who always said, like, oh, we have to stop. We didn't try the local pivo. Pivo is beer. And like the son, he always said, oh, father, we have to go on. We cannot stop now and have a beer. But at the end, they lost a lot of kilos also. And for me, it's like in the evening, it's nice to sit somewhere in the tent and read a bit and have your pivo. But of course, it shouldn't dominate the tour. But yeah, sometimes it also helps to communicate with the people. Even if you don't speak the language, that's also fascinating. Like the two Germans who met local fishermen, they had no common language, but they had some beer and they were friends.
Nice.
That's as simple as it gets. Michael, thank you so much for answering all those questions. Maybe one last question to wrap it all up. What are your top 3 recommendations for people who are going to plan on a bike trip such as yours? And yeah, what would you recommend as the top 3 points to take care of?
Yeah, don't overplan it. Just get directions and don't make too many reservations. Sometimes a lot of people want a lot of security. I mean, okay, if you say I want one bed every evening, you have to do this. But if you say I have a tent and I can also do wild sleeping, whatever, then don't plan too much. Just go on. It's not easy to say these top 3. Yeah.
Also gear or equipment.
Don't get rid of things. That's the second. Get rid of things that you don't really necessarily need. You always think like, I need these 10 bags of things, but you don't. And you are not going to Kalahari. You're going to, especially when it's the first tour, it's not, it's in the civilization. So you get everything everywhere. Just have the key reparation things, but not that much stuff. Reduce and don't overplan. That's my 2 suggestions. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Michael, then thanks a lot again, and now looking forward to our next report.
You kick me out, or what am I doing now?
I will bring the other 2 guys and you out, okay? Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Yes, thanks a lot, Michael, from my part as well. So we're going to move to the second part of the night, to the second bike report, and we are welcoming Frederic and Pantxika.
Yeah.
Hello. Thanks a lot for joining us, because it's kind of a special situation because you're on the road. So you are in Turkey right now, in Izmir. And thanks for taking the time. And I know that you kind of planned to have a free day today as well to be able to join us. And it's really nice of you. Thanks a lot. So since you're on the road, and we totally understand that you didn't have time to do a presentation like Michael did, so we're gonna do kind of a Q&A with you. And everyone who's watching, you also, like we just did it, feel free to put your questions in the chat during the talk, and we're gonna pick it up and ask them.
We've got a friend with us.
Sorry, we just had a friends coming, so.
Okay, nice. Yeah, by the way, just a little detail. We are really glad that this is kind of an international event. We saw on the Facebook event that there were people from all over the world accepting the invitation, and I guess everyone who accepted the Facebook invitation is also watching right now, because that's usually how it is. So, yeah, thanks again. So just as we said in the introduction of the event, you started about 7 months ago. So you took the decision to sell all your stuff. You sold your house, you sold all your belongings. And when we came across your blog that you have, I think 1,500 people following you on Facebook. Yeah. We were really thrilled about this project. So yeah, maybe to start, I think, and that's a question that everybody is really asking themselves right now: how's your ass? Does your ass hurt a lot, or is it?
No, that's fine now. Our house is pretty okay. Yeah, we can't really complain about it. And no, after 7 months, we don't even feel anything. You know, I think it's hard the first week, first 2 weeks probably, but after that, no, it's all right. Yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear. I can imagine that. I mean, after seven months of biking, it's you're getting used to it, I think.
Yeah, but in 7 months we lost as well 25 kilo. You know.
So we had to change our saddle because you need to adapt your saddle to your bottom. So we had to change it. We changed it in
1 month ago.
Yeah, 1 month ago. Yeah, because it was starting to hurt a little bit, starting like to come back like the first week. So yeah, now it's much better. Yeah. So no, it's all right. Yeah.
Nice. So
I was not expecting this question.
it was just my personal question. So now Lucas and Helen are going to ask the real question.
No, sorry. So
And
maybe to start from the beginning.
And so enjoy the talk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So maybe to start from the beginning. So you planned your bike trip on 5 years, which is, I mean, it's a lot of time. So maybe you can just reiterate a little bit. How did you get to this decision? Because it's such a huge decision to make.
Okay, so we're going to start with a little story from the beginning. We used to live in England, in Chester exactly. And about 3 years ago, 2018, we did our first ever trip by bicycle. So for the story, Pantxika came one day and told me, hey Fred, I want to do a bicycle trip from Roscoff to Hendaye, which is La Vélodyssée in France, following the west coast, all on cycling path, pretty easy, pretty flat. So, and I looked at her and I said to her, are you crazy? No. I'm watching TV on my sofa. I'm fat as ever. I've never cycling, so no. And after a week, I thought like, okay, that's what she wants to do. We've got spare time, so I came back to her. I say, okay, not a problem. We can do it, but we start from Chester. So it took us a week to prepare, and after a week, we decided to go. The day we left Chester, some friends came to say bye to us, and most of them told me, "Okay, Fred, see you in 3 days." So, and we did it. We did it in 6 weeks. So we did Chester to Hendaye in France, which is at the border of Spain, and in 6 weeks, and we really enjoyed it, and especially me. Both of us, for me, I was like no at the beginning, and I really enjoyed traveling by bicycle. So when we arrived in Hendaye, I just looked at Pantxika and I said, listen, would you like to continue? And she looked at me and she said, oh, you're crazy. We still have stuff in UK, like the house and things like that. So no, we need to go back home. So we decided to go back home. Arriving in Chester, we thought, okay, we could do like an around the world trip by bicycle. The only thing it takes is just selling the house. So we've put the house on the market, and we didn't get a buyer before like last year. And last year, a guy came with an offer, bought the house. It was like first lockdown, so everything happened during the first lockdown. At the end of the lockdown, he bought the house. We were supposed, because in the middle we found like a proper job as well. So we thought like we will never do this trip. And when we sold the house, we just like, okay, what are we doing? Are we buying another house, or are we going for an around the world trip by bicycle for like, we don't know, probably 5 years, because going around the world will take 5 years. And she looked at me and she said, yeah, let's go for that. Yeah, forget the house in Manchester. Just let's go for that. So we sold all our stuff, and it took us like 2 months to prepare. And
let's go no road.
And so we started the 5th of September our trip, and we planned to do it on 5 years. Yeah, or more.
But we know we need to travel at the same time on the middle, you know.
We need to work, yeah.
We need to work on the middle.
So we will have to work a little bit, and we will have to have fun, and anyway, that's part of the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if you just decided to leave your home country to do a 5 years around the globe trip, how do you pack for 5 years? I mean, do you have every clothes for 4 seasons with you, or do you store something?
No, we've got everything with us. So mainly you need mainly what you need when you travel like a long travel like us, it's you need one t-shirt to cycle, because you're always wearing the same thing: one t-shirt, shorts, legging for the winter, and
Merino sock for the winter.
merino socks for the winter. So we've got like mainly one t-shirt to cycle. We've got like 4 t-shirts. We've got two long sleeve t-shirts. Sorry, we're in Turkey, so you might hear like the call from Trey now.
Yeah, you can hear it.
And yeah, so you don't really need much, but you need good stuff. Like for winter clothes, you need like a proper thermal clothes, especially for the night. During the day when you cycle, it's all right, but nighttime can be hard. We slept outside by -15 in the tent. So yeah, it can be. It's not a good night. You say you sleep, but you're not really sleeping. You just like freezing cold all night long.
Wow,
But
that sounds pretty tough.
but
So-
yeah, we've got mainly everything with us for the 4 season. Yeah.
How much would you say weight your bikes with all your luggage in total?
So bikes weight roughly in total with the luggage, we're about like 55-60 kilo.
Oh, that's a lot.
Bikes and luggage, 60 kilos, yeah. Because we've got
But I mean, for 5 years.
we weight our stuff like so luggage, we've got 40 kilos without the food, so without the water, so we use about 10 liters of water a day, because for cooking, cleaning, and things like that, which we carry about 5 liters each. And food depend the countries you are in. Like before entering Turkey, we could find easily like canned food and things like that. So we were buying food for 5 days to be able to go to remote place, and we didn't mind like if we couldn't find a shop. But in Turkey, you don't find canned food or things like that, so you have to shop every day. But you've got markets in every village, so it's quite easy. So at the moment in Turkey, we're traveling like much lighter than we used to travel, especially for with the food.
Okay. Muriel Sakuri wants to know what you're going to do next. I mean, are you going for the peace, or is that it? Are you? What are your plans from now on? Are you going? Where are you going next?
Oh, so now it's a bit difficult because Turkey at the moment for travelers is a bit the end of the world on the east side, because all the borders around us, not all the borders, but on the east side, Iran is closed, Georgia is closed. We can't go to Syria due to the war. We can't go to Iraq because mainly because we're French. French are not allowed to go to Iraq at the moment. So we were thinking going down to Africa through Egypt, but there is no ferry going to Egypt anymore from Europe or Turkey. The only thing we could do is like travel by plane, but we want to avoid it as much as we can. So we are waiting for Georgia to open the border. If Georgia doesn't open the border, we will go back to Europe and go through Europe again, through countries we haven't done yet, going back to France and go down to Spain and cross to Morocco and do Africa. The thing is, we're traveling under COVID, so COVID make things a bit more difficult now. We will have at a certain point to get the vaccine to be able to travel properly.
Okay, so in general, because Nadia Wolf wants to know what it is to travel in times of this pandemic right now, as compared to maybe traveling without it. What are the specifics you are experiencing? That, I mean, it's closed borders. Is there anything else? Maybe, for example, finding hosts or something like that, or?
Yes, we had trouble, especially in France, Italy, Croatia, to find hosts due to COVID. As soon as we've been through Montenegro, Albania, and North Macedonia, it was much easier. Because especially Albania, you've got like no COVID restriction, really. Yeah,
No mask,
nothing.
nothing.
So it's
Cafe, restaurant open.
yeah. Albania was a different world regarding COVID. We had the impression we were coming back to like before pre-COVID. After that, we've been to Bulgaria, so came back to Europe. So it was a bit difficult to find.
North Macedonia, because North Macedonia first test.
Yeah, North Macedonia as well. Yeah, after we had to make some tests as well to cross the borders. But now we're in Turkey, so Turkey, you can feel like they're really careful with COVID. We have to wear the mask everywhere, outside, inside, everywhere. But people host you, so that's a thing we're really surprised about in Turkey. But yeah, we can say like warm showers. We had plenty people told us they didn't want to get us due to the COVID, which we totally understand. And after border crossing is another issue. Like borders are open, most of the borders in Europe are open, but now we have to make a test every time we cross the border. So this add on your budget because you have to pay a test every time, and this is something you don't plan before you travel. So now every border crossing we have to make and pay for a test, and if it's fortunately we always had like a negative test, so perfect. But if you've got a positive test, you have to quarantine as well for at least a week on your expense. So yeah, it can make things a bit more difficult, but we're traveling under COVID. We have to accept all the rules, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, are you just staying with the pandemic? Are you like annoyed by going back to Europe and crossing the border? Or is it just for you, okay, it's a pandemic time, we're just going to change our route? Or is it kind of, but we wanted to do this?
But it's at the moment we can cross anywhere, which you say if you want to stay on a road, you just need to change your plan, and the plan it's better to come back in Europe and find a second way.
Yeah.
A plan B.
Yeah.
Annoyed. Yeah, you're a little bit annoyed because you've got a plan in your head. You've got, but at the same time, you're thinking as soon as we can keep being on the road, it's the main thing. We can still cycling. We've got the freedom of doing whatever we want. We try to avoid cities. We go to cities really when like Izmir or Istanbul, because there are cities like you need, or Sofia, because you need to visit them. But we try really to avoid cities and stay in countryside. We sleep a lot while camping, so we're not coming across like a massive population most of the time as well. And so changing our plan is just like anyway, plan is like rules. It's made not to be followed.
Nice.
Speaking about plans, Eden Georgisch wants to know, what is your budget? I mean, you sold your house, but since I mean, not everybody has a house to sell, so
yeah, we sold our house, but we give it back to the bank, in fact. So,
But if you wait to save money, you don't do anything.
yeah,
Which is for this we say we need to work during the 5 years. You know, you need £20 minimum a day for 2 people to eat or to sleep or whatever you want. What to depend what you eat as well. and after you for us, for example, we know in 5 years we need to work on the middle of the travel, you know.
yeah, you can. I don't think you can go for 5 years and like on a budget and saying, okay, it's gonna be like a party every day and we're gonna live like kings and things like that. Unless you're already like loaded and but we've got a budget. And it's the same. We sold our house, but we've got a part of the money of the house we've sold. We don't want to touch as well. We don't want to because it's. We're 45 years old, so we're not like young guys who can say after like okay, I'm going to work all my life and it doesn't matter, I can travel for 5 years. And we're 45, we're not retired. So we've got a part we don't want to touch at all, and we've got a part like dedicated to this trip. But at the same time, we know the part we've got won't be enough for the 5 years. So we try to be careful. Like Pantxika said, it costs about €10 per person a day, because only what you need really is like your food for the day and sometime accommodation. But we are traveling in countries now like hotel night is like €10, so it's. But most of the time we sleep in the wild, so in our tent, so it costs nothing as well. So budget is always it's depend what you need. Many people ask us on our Facebook page and okay, I plan to do a long trip. What is the budget? Difficult to say. Will you drink beers every day?
Did you drink wine every day?
Do you drink wine every day? You know, it's like it's difficult to say. It's we say on average, probably
20.
10 per person, 20 for the
20
two of
for
us.
two of us.
Yeah.
That sounds
Nice.
reasonable.
So we see you guys on the screen and you look lovely today together, but are there days where you just hate each other, don't want to see each other, cycle alone? That's what Peter Müller asked.
Yeah, that's why we don't ride tandem.
So you can keep cycling on quiet next to each other.
No, it's not easy every day. It's not like okay, when we put the pictures, when we speak about our days on our blog and things like that, people think like it's a dream. It's a dream every day, but you've got hard days. Sometimes we've got argument because one want to do this, the other one prefer to do that. So it's not easy every day, but it's like but most of the time it's brilliant. Yeah. And anyway, you've got always something make you feel like I'm living the dream, you know. So yeah. But
we're cycling together every day, but not just side by side. You know, I can be 2 kilometers behind, watching the bird, watching the flowers, watching the mountain. And what are you doing? I was watching this. Stop for this.
So you can get a lot of me time then. That's good to know.
Nice.
So from Michael, from our first speaker, we heard that he's doing on average some 90 to 100 kilometers per day. What is your average? I mean, you are on the road for way longer even. So I'm wondering, what's your average distance you do?
We do, the average is 50, 60. Yeah. Because we take the time, we've got the time. We don't have like a time frame to say, okay, we've got only like 3 months or 2 months. So Yeah,
50.
50 is more realistic. We had days we've done 20 kilometers. We had days we've done 100 kilometers. It's depend the day, depend the feeling, depend what we want to visit the day after, or like it's. But yeah, 50 is the average.
50, 60 is the average.
Yeah.
But is it that you cycle every day, or do you take your days off and just go to do sightseeing or to be at the beach side or whatever?
We're cycling every day. For example, we stop 3 days in Izmir because we've got today we need to be off. Tomorrow we are off as well, and we're gonna start again Wednesday. And we're gonna stop in Pamukkale next stop.
Yeah, we depend what we have to visit. Yeah. It's so we can stay. I think the longest we've done was a bit more than 2 weeks without a break, cycling. But sometimes we can do like 4 or 5 days, having a 1 day rest and start again for 4 or 5 days. After you've got like Istanbul, we stayed 3 days.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And last week we stopped Thursday for the chat.
Yeah.
And we stopped again yesterday.
And in Sarande in Albania, we stopped for 2 weeks because it was 4 months we were on the road. We started to feel a bit tired, and we thought like it was time to have a break. So we stopped 2 weeks in an apartment. We took the opportunity. The apartment was really cheap, so we thought like it's time to stay 2 weeks without cycling, without touching Cali and Mucho.
Nice.
Yeah. Now that you mention Cali Mucho, there's a story behind it. Michael teased it already. Maybe you want to share it with us?
Yeah, so Cali Mucho. So that's the name of the bike. I'm riding Cali, which is specialized, and she's riding Mucho, which is a track bike. Why Cali Mucho? Because Pantxika is coming from the Basque Country. And Cali Mucho is the national drink in the Basque Country, which is red wine and Coke. So I'm riding red wine, she's riding Coke.
And that is
the story.
We thought it's a crazy time, so we needed to find a crazy name for our bikes, and Cali Mucho is like
Cali Mucho.
Yeah.
We're gonna try it. Right away.
It's a very nice drink.
Don't do that.
But that's also the name of your Facebook and Instagram, and also your blog, right?
Yes.
When you take the time to write, to take all this footage actually to fit in.
During the day, every day, we stop when we see something. We stop, we take pictures, and we tend to do. At the beginning, we used to post every day. Every night we were like doing a post, and since North Macedonia, we've decided to do it like every 2-3 days, so sometimes we post like every day, and sometimes we just leave like a break, but yeah, it's nice part of the trip as well, you know, like stopping for pictures and writing in the evening. Especially when we've got no more books in the evening, we're just writing our blog.
Yeah. Funny. It's a busy life being an influencer. Especially become one by nature.
No, maybe at this point we just give the advice to all the people watching. If you want to know more and see more about the tour of Fred and Pantxika, visit their Facebook page or their Instagram page. It's Cali Mucho World Tour, just as the name is. You can find, and it's
gonna add it on the YouTube
very
comments.
inspiring, very interesting to see, and yeah, we're gonna add it in the description section as well.
Well, when we decided to do that, we are, like you say, it's difficult to be an influencer. We don't want to be like we don't want to influence anybody or whatever. We don't put any filters. We just take pictures with our mobiles. We don't have like high-tech things or stop for like that picture. Or we want to show like our travel, how it is, like a normal person when they're traveling now. A normal person carries his phone. When he sees something nice, just take a picture with his phone, share it on Facebook. And so we want to do exactly the same thing. We don't add any filters or whatever. We don't work on the picture. When we do, like, we've got few YouTube video, we just make them basics because we want to show the trip how it is, and nothing like too fancy or whatever. It's just like how it is. Our trip is like a simple trip.
Like us.
Nice.
And I think that's really actually what
Yeah.
people want to see.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like about your blog, for example.
But I mean,
Thank
the
you.
veloTALK is also made to inspire people. I mean, we are all bike travelers already, but also people who always find a reason to not do it. Maybe we are too big, we don't have the equipment. Is there anything you can tell those people that they should try it too, to get to see the beauty of the countries?
Me, I can say something. We start with 25 kilo on us more, and the first week was very hard. I've got some pain on my knee and everything, but we keep going. We done less kilometers when we start, and now I don't feel anything, and I'm happy because my bike suit me, and we can do 100 kilometers per day. Sometimes we done 20 because we don't feel the body is good, and everybody can do it, and it's not the weight, or it's not because you are thin or sick or whatever. You just take your bike and do it, and you're gonna, if you want to do it, you're gonna do it. And
Yeah.
no pain, no gain.
Yeah, true.
That's why
Yeah, it's everybody really, like Pantxika said, it's not like we tend to find excuses like not to do things, but if you want to do it, just do it. We've got, like, same on Facebook, many people ask us, did you prepare a lot, did you
No.
this, did you that? No, we wanted to do it, so we've decided, like, yeah, we bought like some good bags, and but that's it. And after you go with the flow, and anyway, you learn every day. We're still learning a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
So, guys, thanks a lot. You gave us a lot of nice impressions for making a longer trip. Yes, so everybody, we said already, you can follow them on the Kalimuchu World Tour. I'm going to add it on the comments. And now I give the word back to our companion, Mimi. Thanks for having you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Enjoy your trip.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks a lot from my side as well. Enjoy your trip, and we talk soon. Yeah, so this is the end of the first edition of the veloTALK series. We hope you enjoyed it and get some nice input for future trips. I hope that all the questions in the chat were answered. I think so. Yeah, so if you want to join the next veloTALK, we're going to organize another veloTALK soon. Just follow the Veloplaisir Europe site on Facebook. We're going to put all informations in there. And yeah, we are also really happy, of course, to get feedback to this event. I mean, it was kind of an improvised event, to be honest, so I think it worked well. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I want to say thanks a lot again, because we did the coordination, but the real work behind it was done by Michael and Frederic and Pantxika, who were ready to report about their trips. And thanks a lot for the input. It was really, for me personally, it was really inspiring. Yeah, so if you want to give us feedback, you just write us a message right now in the chat or on Facebook, or we also have an email address. It's info@veloplaisir.eu. Yeah, and if one of you, I mean, I don't know how many people watched in the end. I think there were a bunch of people, and there maybe were some people who do a lot of bike trips already. And if someone of you wants to present one of his trips in the next veloTALK Volume 2, just contact us, write us a message. And yeah, I think that's the end. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. keep on cycling. And good night.